Hello, fellow watchers. Welcome to an introduction to Mystic Warlords of Ka'a. My name is Kevin. I am one of the card creators for a fan base group based on this game. This game was played as a prop in the Big Bang Theory, and what me and my team are trying to do is bring that card game into reality through a free-to-play system where all you have to do is download the cards, the rules, and you can send these images to a card print shop and bring a friend and play. Over the next few videos, I am going to introduce a few of the cards. I'm going to show you also how to build a deck, and then another video I will show you how to play sort of step by step. So without further ado, we are going to meet the foxlings. So with the foxlings, they are mainly furry woodland type creatures. They have mainly they're all green cards, and as you can see in front of me, there are several different types of creatures you'll meet during your card building journey that you have. Now, the core set for the foxlings are out on our group, so just go on to Facebook, look for Mystic Warlords of Ka'a. You're going to be asked a few questions. Just answer them, and we're pretty quick at responding to new members because we want new members and we also want people to play this game. So a brief explanation of how this game works is this is a fantasy card-based game where you take turns against an opponent, and first you go through a skirmish to see who goes first, and then you go to a secondary round, I guess, for lack of a better word, and then your creatures that you're able to summon that turn battle each other, or you can use spells to try to best your opponent and win the game. And we'll get further into deeper explanations of this, but this is just a brief rundown on how this game works. So your creatures, once you're able to summon, you can cast spells to aid them. You can equip them with artifacts to make them stronger, and that's basically the small basics of this game. Now, we do also have a playmat design for new players. That way you can lay it out in front of you and you know where each things go. So that makes it a little bit easier for new players to learn. Now, you don't have to have a playmat. You just put it where those spots are. So that's the foxlings, and in each faction there are going to be specific warlords that will lead your squad. So really quickly we're going to go over those. You have a mage, you have a thief, and you have a fighter. So those three main warlords lead the squads that you'll make in your deck. The other type of cards within each faction is an artifact, and creature cards. So those are the main cards in each faction. Now, we're going to meet a faction later on in the video, and I'll explain what's going on with that once we get to them. So the next faction we're going to meet is the Sunlords. The Sunlords are basically very zealous type of, for lack of a better word, religious sects. They have priests in there. From what I can tell from the lore of this particular faction is that they worship something called the Dawn Star, and they believe in the powers that that are imbued from the Dawn Star. My guess is that when the creation of the world of Ka'a, they broke open one of the runes to get this power and called the runes the Dawn Stars. So you're going to see all kinds of cool guys in here, and you'll see a lot of anti-magics, warriors, and there are some falcon men in there. There are people who follow the Sunlords called the Templars. So the Templars will battle against the Twilight Elves, which we'll meet there in a little bit. It looks like to me that they really dislike the Twilight Elves and the corruption that they have brought to the land of Ka'a. So hopefully when you get more in depth in how you're building the game, you'll meet these guys, and if that's what you want to make your deck out of, you definitely have the ability, because there's like 80 something cards for them. The next one that we're going to meet is the Tempest Masters. So the Tempest Masters, as you can see, is like an orange color. They're like desert. It's like a desert theme in my opinion. You're gonna see all kinds of creatures that are indigenous to that area. Nomadic warriors like the cliff riders, some spellcasters, militants, and creatures that are common in the Tempest Masters faction. Here is a few more guys, some riders. They don't really have a lot of magical creatures per se, but there's a lot of large, humongous beasts that they deal with. There is another beast there. They like the lightning. I saw that. The long riders, and some of the spark speakers. There is some storm guys, and here is another little beast here. So I'm going really quick and showing kind of like what you're going to be expecting when you build a deck out of the Tempest Masters, and there's about 80 something cards there. The next one that we're going to meet is Twilight Elves. The Twilight Elves are mainly the dark forest creatures. You're going to see zombies, witches, warlocks, undead, skeletons, zombies, vampires, bats, all kinds of things that you would expect to see with, like, I'd hate to say this, but necromancy, the underworld, any creatures you can think of to be in the dark forest. And so those are the Twilight Elves. They are like abominations of humanity in the world of Ka'a. And there's probably about 70 to 80 cards within that faction. And they are mainly purple. So the next one that we're going to meet is the Wind Riders. Now the Wind Riders are airships, pirates, all kinds of creatures that you will meet in the land of Ka'a, because they can go all across the globe in their airships. Mainly what you're going to see here is a big pirate comedy theme. You will meet a bunch of steampunk type characters, as you can see there and there. Here's another guy with like a weird looking eyeglass. So you're gonna see that all through this type of faction. Now this faction, with the core card release, there's only probably about 50 some odd cards here, but there are plans to bring more cards out to help balance this particular faction out. We do have a bunch of cards, so what I'm trying to do is get people interested in this game. And you know, here is you know, those are the bonus cards that I'm wanting to bring in this game. So as you can tell, there's quite a few cards there. Now, I'm not going to show those on camera because I want you to come and join us and play. So these are the Unaligned. Now, the Unaligned do not follow any particular faction, but they can help other factions. So there's not very many cards in the Unaligned, and there is no Warlords in the Unaligned. In the core set, there's not very many spells or artifacts, but we have plans to change that. And to show you, this is some bonus cards that we want to introduce to the Unaligned. Now there's about 50, maybe 60 cards in here. So if you want to see those, join us. We're taking new players every day. I will teach you step by step in the next video how to make a deck. Right now we're just doing introductions. So right now there are 6 factions. Now let me zoom out just a little bit. Okay, so to just go over one more time, this is the Foxlings, this is the Sunlords, this is the Tempest Masters, this is the Wind Riders, this is the Twilight Elves, and this is the Unaligned. Now, we are wanting to also eventually introduce 2 more factions. We are wanting to introduce the Stoneforge and the Deep Watchers. Now, as you can tell, we just begun making these, so you can tell that we're well on our way of wanting to create more cards for people who join. Now, also on our group site, we have specially made summon cards, and I'll get into what these are in later videos. But we have made specialized summon cards that are like part of the faction. Like that one is Twilight Elves. This one is the Tempest Masters. That is the Sunlords. This is the Wind Riders. That is basically the Foxlings, and that one's the Unaligned. Now the reason for that is just to kind of give you the environments that you might see within those factions. So that's why they were created that way. Now we have some plain ones if you guys don't like the environments, but I feel like as a new player you would want to get immersed in that world, so we made these to kind of aid in that transition. So hopefully this has piqued your interest as far as if you like card games, fantasy, strategy. It's kind of role-playing in a sense, but it's more of a strategy battle with fantasy creatures than anything else. It is turn-based, and what the goal is to reduce your opponent to a 0 life score, kind of like you would see in some of the other games that are like that. So if you liked what you see, please follow, share, like, show this video to someone that may like card games, because we, like I said, we are trying to get people to play this game and to join us and be active in our group. So without further ado, thank you for watching. My name is Kevin, and this was Mystic Warlords of Ka'a.